Good, happy Friday evening, May 15, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Friday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Friday evening, so let's begin. First up, Governor announces $595 million in relief money for New Hampshire businesses and other sectors. 8 new COVID-19 deaths reported. Governor Chris Sununu announced hundreds of millions of dollars in new aid Friday, targeted toward health care, higher education, nonprofits, childcare, farms, and small businesses. The funds come from the $1.25 billion that has been sent to New Hampshire by the federal government for coronavirus relief. The aid includes $400 million for the Main Street Relief Funds, which is intended to help small businesses. Sununu said any business with less than $20 million in revenue qualifies for the program, which can provide funds to help with expenses such as bills or property taxes. And any interested business has until May 29th to fill out an application at revenue.nh.gov or gopher.nh.gov. Sununu said the Department of Revenue Administration will review the application to try to minimize fraud and take into account other federal funds the business have already received. Sununu said the intent is to give small businesses the funds they need to avoid bankruptcy. Another $60 million will be used to help nonprofit organizations. Sununu said the funds would be administered through the Community Development Finance Authority, the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation, and the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits. The governor said he and the Legislative Advisory Board of the Governor's Office for Emergency Relief and Recovery had originally planned to spend the money out over a longer period of time, but the decision was made to front load the funding because the needs are great now. Sununu said there's an expectation that more federal funding will be approved down the line, and the state still has $405 million from the original Relief Act that hasn't yet been altercated. The Healthcare Referral Fund, which helps hospitals and other healthcare providers stay open as revenues decline, is being doubled to $100 million. Sununu said $30 million is earmarked for long-term care facilities. Another $25 million has been allocated for child care, which Sununu said would be an increasing need as businesses reopen. The state is allocating $10 million for farmers and farms across the state and $5 million to New Hampshire Food Bank. Sununu said the state is also expanding its program to offer stipends to Medicaid frontline workers, firefighters, law enforcement, and EMS workers. He said more connections staff will be eligible for stipends, along with other workers, such as juvenile parole employees. More deaths announced from COVID-19. The new aid comes as the state announced that 8 more Granite Staters have died of COVID-19. Health Commissioner Lori Shiverton said 7 of those deaths were linked to long-term care facilities. Shiverton said there were 88 new positive cases of COVID-19 confirmed, bringing the total number of positive in the state to 3,464. Now let's take a look at your COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know information. There are 3,464 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. 1,432,045 number of people in the United States have tested positive. 159 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 335 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 86,851 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. This map of New Hampshire shows you where current cases of COVID-19 are. Nashua, 179. And this map here shows you total cases of COVID-19 cases in New Hampshire. Nashua, 312. This chart here, new cases each day in New Hampshire in the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalizations, and in the red, deaths. This chart here, current cases. In the purple, total current COVID-19 cases, and in the orange, current hospitalizations. In this chart here, total cases. In the purple, total positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalizations. In the red, deaths, and in the blue, recovered. This chart here shows you by age group. This chart here shows you by female and male, and this chart here shows you risk information. This chart here shows you race/ethnicity of cases. This chart here shows you percent of New Hampshire population. Common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, and difficult breathing. How it spreads, and prevention tips. Be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. While some restaurants prepare to open outdoor seating, others plan to wait. Owners say new guidelines don't work for some restaurants. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
When you cut lawns for a living, reliability matters. The Kubota commercial lineup with purpose-built mowers like this.
Outside Panucci's in Manchester, the tables are ready for Monday when they're able to offer outside dining. The safety precautions in place, but the owner's not sure the sales will have much impact on his bottom line.
I don't think it's going to be much of a difference, but the scenario is to try to get some type of normalcy.
As he looks to reopening, one major problem is staffing.
They're all unemployed. They're receiving good money. And it's very difficult to get staff back.
Despite the difficulties, he has no thoughts about giving up.
I spent 45 years in this business. I'm not going to just let it go to what I've worked for all my life.
Just off Elm Street is Gaucho's restaurant. There are no tables out front and no plans for them or to reopen the restaurant.
We are a Brazilian-style restaurant, so that starts off with a salad bar and a buffet. We also have gauchos that come around and serve at the table.
And buffets are not allowed under the current guidelines, so the partial reopening doesn't help them at all.
We can hold on for a little while, but it certainly can't last. Obviously, we still have bills. We have rent to pay. We have all these expenses.
One restaurant owner is suggesting the city let them take the parking spots in front of their business. It'll add a few more tables. He says it's not much, but every little bit helps. In Manchester, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Governor Baker sets stage for unveiling reopening plan Monday. Plans will continue to prompt remote work as much as possible. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston.
Brigham Health is working around the clock to defeat COVID-19. You can help our efforts by giving to our response fund, donating supplies, or hosting a fundraiser. We're stronger together. Learn more at bwhgiving.org/help.
As a housekeeping item, this weekend our legal office will be posting a 24-hour extension of the essential services order we issued previously, which I think, as everybody knows, expires at midnight on Sunday. To be clear, this is simply a technical extension. It doesn't change anything. It just allows us to move to the next step, which we'll be outlining with you all on Monday.
Okay, there you go. And there you have it. He said Monday they will make that announcement. No new deaths reported in Maine as total coronavirus cases top 1,600. Let's take a listen to that video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
The Maine CDC reporting now 38 new cases of coronavirus, raising the state total to 1,603. No new deaths reported today, so the death toll remains at 69. 993 Mainers have recovered, and currently there are 541 active cases across the state.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Coronavirus news. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Delaware join in reopening beaches Memorial Day weekend. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC7 and why.
Eyewitness reporter Dave Evans live in Midtown. Dave.
Well, Shirley, I think the headline today from the governor is this regional decision to open all of the beaches in 4 different states, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, and also Connecticut, all at the same time. The governor announcing that they would open on Friday before Memorial Day. There are exceptions to this. For example, the mayor said that Coney Island, the city, is not ready yet for that. So we don't really apply to this decision, this regional decision by the governor today on the beaches. But this is what he had to say just a few minutes ago.
They're opening Friday of Memorial Day weekend, state beaches. That includes local beaches, lake shores. It does not include pools. Pools are closed. But no more than 50% capacity. And that'll be done at parking areas, entrance areas, exit areas, etc. No group contact activities, no volleyball, no football, nothing like that.
Okay, and there you go. And there you have it from Governor Andrew Cuomo. What's open? What's not? DC region is a patchwork as officials disagree on readiness. As local officials in the Washington, D.C. region disagree on whether or not they are ready to reopen their jurisdictions, we've created a map below and guide. Scroll further down on what's reopening and when. Let's take a look at that right now. The latest furthest along in reopening status, darkest reopening has not begun. As you can see on this map here. In D.C., D.C. Mayor extends city's stay-at-home order until June 8th. Maryland, Governor Larry Hogan announced that the state's reopening will begin at 5 p.m. on Friday, May 15th, but said local governments could make their own decisions about whether to follow suit. These counties are extending stay-at-home orders. Baltimore, the city of Baltimore, will remain under its stay-at-home order indefinitely. Charles County voted to delay its reopening until May 29th. Montgomery County officials say their stay-at-home order would remain indefinitely. In Prince George County extends its stay-at-home order until June 1st. These counties announced they would begin Maryland Phase 1 reopening, but in modified ways. Click on the names for each location. These are the locations as you can see here. We will share this link with you after this broadcast so you can click on these names and read more. Virginia. Governor of Virginia announced that the state will begin Phase 1 reopening on May 15th with expectations of all of these counties and cities, as you can see. All of the above locations have requested not to start Phase 1 of Virginia's reopening until May 29th. West Virginia has a week-by-week reopening plan. It's currently in Week 3. Week 4 begins Thursday, May 21st. And again, if you want to see this list, we will share the list with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page after this broadcast. Missing man's body found in shallow grave. Additional charges filed on Harnett County in May. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC 11, North Carolina.
More engineers and more coverage. You'll get the best 5G network and the best prices. Welcome to T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network.
Now at 4, Harnett County authorities finding the body of a missing man buried in a shallow grave. 31-year-old Terrence Ford was last seen back in December leaving his home in Lillington. Authorities say they got a tip that led them to a property off T.W. Campbell Lane, and that's where they found Ford's body. Derek Brooks has now been charged with murdering Ford. Authorities say Brooks was already in the Harnett County Detention Center on unrelated drug charges. Investigators say more charges could be pending against Brooks and any other suspects.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Gyms can reopen on Monday. Retail and restaurants can expand to 50% capacity. Let's take a listen to this video from WPBF 25 News, Florida.
Welcome to XB Pilates. I created these workouts to help you carve out a beautiful physique in just under 30.
Restaurants. We had started Initially, outdoor seating 6 foot apart with 25% indoor capacity. We are now going effective Monday to operating up to 50% capacity, and a lot of that is based off the spacing of the tables, or if you have some type of partition, because I've had some restaurateurs tell me, hey, I got plexiglass, my booths, I can't move them, but I have plexiglass. That's fine, that's effective. All we're trying to do is create a low-risk environment, and I really appreciate a lot of the folks that own restaurants who have been thinking deeply about this throughout this crisis. A lot stayed open to do takeout, but some didn't. And
okay, if you want to watch this full press briefing from the governor of Florida, you can. We will share this link with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page after this broadcast. But we can tell you, the governor of Florida announced Friday that gyms can reopen on Monday, as well as retail and restaurants and other attractions. In the press conference, the governor announced that restaurants can open at 50% capacity on Monday based on spacing of tables or including some sort of partition between the tables. Retail stores can also operate at 50% capacity. Museums and libraries are also permitted to reopen, but the decision is being left to local government on when they will reopen. Gym doors can reopen their doors on Monday as long as they ensure social distancing and sanitization procedures. Professional sports and Florida teams can resume training, and venues can be used for seasonal games as well. The governor went on to say that amusement parks can submit their reopening plans to the state in order to be considered. They must provide plans as how they will ensure social distancing to all guests.
More conducive to dining. That's just what they have.
.4 magnitude earthquake hits Nevada, felt in parts of California. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC 7 in California.
Off. 6.5 quake hit near Tonopah, Nevada this morning. It's about 3 hours north of Las Vegas. The quake, initially reported as a 6.4, was followed by dozens of aftershocks, including a 4.9. There have been no reports of injury, but US 95, the highway that connects Las Vegas to Reno, was closed through Esmeralda County after these cracks appeared on the roadway, and those are significant. And then look at this video in Fresno. You can see that chandelier shaking around there. We're told people as far away as San Jose and Bakersfield actually felt the quake.
Wow. Okay, and there you go. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Friday evening. And here's a look at that U.S. stock market for all of you for this Friday evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the green and went up. S&P 500 closed in the green and went up. Gold closed in green and went up. Oil closed in green and went up. U.S. 10-year closed flat. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VIX closed in the red and went down. Dow rises slightly, but lost more than 2% on week. Stocks finished Friday with slight gains, but the major indexes capped the week with significant losses between a slew of somber economic reports and increasing tension between China and the U.S. Service members sing message of support to those on front lines. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Finally, the U.S. Army with a song for everyone on the front lines. It begins with the guitar, and soon, the voices of those who are serving and those who have served. A message for Americans on the front lines all over this country.
Oh, let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. America, you're calling us, still our home, sweet home.
Tonight, Sergeant Major Crystal Reams on why they did this.
Hi, David.
In Fort Myer, Virginia, with the United States Army Band downrange.
It's our duty to instill strength and stability in a nation through music.
If we let this crisis change us, you know that it would make me more than sad. America, you're everything I've ever had.
And if you recognize the gentleman at the top, you're not alone. He's the former chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, retired General Mark Dempsey.
Hey, David.
Sending in a message not only for us, but for everyone at home.
Military bands exist to inspire, so we began to wonder if there was a way we could send a similar message to our fellow citizens who themselves are going through the very tough times.
Tonight, a song for those who are serving and for Americans across this country on the front lines in this fight.
And if we let this crisis change us, know that it would make me more than sad. America, you're everything I ever had.
So powerful, we salute them and everyone on the front lines. Good night.
What a great story there. And all of us here at the Riley King Network would like to thank all the frontline workers for doing a great job trying to combat this COVID-19 crisis. Thank you. And thank you for watching this Friday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Have a great rest of your Friday evening. I'll see you back here tomorrow with more news. Good night and bye, everyone.